Hello boys and girls, I'd like to tell you a story today. A story about a little retard called Mark P. Now Mark P thought he'd be clever, and Mark P had been warned many times in the past about being clever, and every single time that he'd been warned, he went out into the world and did something clever and something bad happened. And this time Mark P decided to be clever. He thought he would try and do some of his vids in advance. You know, he does the 10 years ago series. We thought if we can get ahead of myself, if I can watch a show now that's not due up for, to be uploaded until June, then there's a video that I don't have to make in the future. My thinking being that I am desperately looking for a job at the moment, so that basically, if nothing else, I can at least upload the 10 years ago series every month. You know, remember we had to stop doing it last year. Oh, I got off the story. I thought I'd just make fun of myself a little bit. That was the plan. Now this happened last week. The video you're about to see. This is a phone I'm recording this on. I use a mobile phone. It's a Nokia N8. It's got a touchscreen like most modern phones have these days. And normally, as you probably see when I start my vid, I'm holding the camera, click it, make sure it's in place, and away we go. When I recorded this video that you're about to watch, I must have just touched the touchscreen in the top right corner here, or the top left corner as it is to you, obviously. And I zoomed the camera in. So what you're about to see is a very extreme close-up of my face. So what I would recommend, ladies and gentlemen, is pressing Control and N on your keyboard right this minute, which will open a new browser window, and you can go and don't do something else. Leave this video on so you can hear me, but you probably aren't going to want to watch it, because, I mean, yeah, I'm sure only my most loyal fans would want to watch a 25-minute close-up of my face. The reason I'm not doing this again, by the way, is because, you know me, I don't like my vids as a rule, and I won't watch them, but I felt, oh, come on, is this salvageable? Yeah, can we do this? And listening to it, because I couldn't watch it, but listening to it, I'm genuinely happy with the vid. So, what I've decided is to do this little vid, this introduction as a warning. So, yeah, that's basically it. Please don't comment about how close up it is of my face and how much of a dumbass I am, because you can't make me feel more of a dumbass than I already feel about this one. And like I say, I'm happy with the video in the content-wise, so I don't want to do it again. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, because the next image you're gonna, this is gonna fade out. When it fades back in, you're gonna see a fucking close-up like this of my face, and that's genuinely terrifying. Anyway, I'm Mark P. I hope you enjoy this. Seriously, go and open a new browser window before, because you don't want to see my face up close. You just don't. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this. Ow, fuck! Just whacked my hand on the fucking thing there on the side. Nice start to a vid, isn't it? Haha. Anyone else edit it out? I can't be honest. Yeah, welcome to this. This is another episode of 10 years ago, and tonight we're going to do a special edition, because we're going to do a UK only pay-per-view, so there's a good chance that a lot of you have never seen this show, if you live in America especially. And yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. But normally we do things like past things that have happened. What we're going to do this one, we're going to do something that happened after this pay-per-view, and then talk about the pay-per-view. I know that's weird, but trust me on this one, the stuff from the plane ride from hell, because that's what we're going to talk about, is far more interesting than the actual show. I guarantee you that. Shall we talk about the plane ride from hell? Quick show of hands. Who knows about the plane ride from hell? Because I mentioned on my Facebook, going to be talking about the plane ride from hell, and so many people didn't have a clue what I was on about. So, you know, I'm here to educate, I'm here to entertain, as we all know. Anyone who has, few of you have, few of you haven't, I like that. So, where to start? Take lots of wrestlers, high as fuck on GBH, drunk as you can get, cram them into a plane for 7 hours and unleash hell. This plane ride has gone down in infamy. It really has. It's one of those things, it's an utter PR disaster for the WWF. Let's talk about it. So, where to start? It really is one of those where to start. Scott Hall, Mr. Perfect, both are absolutely shit-faced. Mr. Perfect is high, as I mentioned, on GHB. They find some shaving foam, and there's people who are on their plane, they're fast asleep, and they decide to pour shaving foam on their faces and see how much shaving foam they can get on the face before someone wakes up. That's always a good one. Scott Hall then passes out. He drinks himself to oblivion. He is so out of it that people have to check his pulse every couple of hours to make sure he's still alive. That's nice, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Not before, though. I should keep a note of my notes. Not before he asked a stewardess for a service that they don't offer in first class, shall we say. That's a tactful, polite way of putting, isn't it? Speaking of Mr. Perfect, he thought it'd be fun. He thought it would be hilarious to start a fight with Brock Lesnar. Haha! Guess who won that one? This one brawled round the fucking plane. At one point, they bounced off one of the airplane's fucking doors. If that had opened, they would have been sucked out. That would have been a laugh, wouldn't it? Fantastic. It took Fit Finlay, Paul Heyman, and Triple H to pull them apart, sorry. Mr. Perfect was fired for this incident the next day. This was like the dark match that we saw at INSURRXTION where he fought Goldust was his last ever, because of course he died in 2003, his last ever WWF appearance. He never made another appearance after that one. Michael Hayes, wow, where do we start with Michael Hayes? Michael Hayes was shit-faced by the time he got on the plane. He kept drinking while he was on the plane. He got up because he needed a piss. Everyone who's ever had a drink understands this one. Nothing wrong with that. Problem is, he's staggering around the plane. He's that hammered that he doesn't know where he is, and he thinks that he is in the toilet and starts pulling his zipper down, unbuttoning his jeans. Gets his cock out in front of quite an important person, yeah. That person was Linda fucking McMahon. That's a good idea. It's a way to make a really good impression. Hey, Linda, look at this, sort of thing. He is sort of steered into the bathroom, like, come on, Michael, this is where you need to piss. But there's someone already in the toilet. Who's that person? That's Bradshaw. When Bradshaw comes out of the toilet, Michael Hayes starts thinking, I'm going to have a laugh with this one. In the match that I'm going to talk about later on, yeah, Bradshaw vs X Pac, Bradshaw had done a blade job. He got some colour, as the wrestlers call it. You know, so he's got a cut on his forehead. And Michael Hayes thinks it's hilarious, God, I've said that twice in this vid, to start poking Bradshaw in the head. So Bradshaw, calm as you like, and you may not like the guy very much, but props for this one, knocks him out with one punch. Oh yes, Bradshaw doesn't get in trouble with that one, but there's more with Michael Hayes, because X-Pac sees Michael Hayes passed out on the floor, and X-Pac doesn't like Michael Hayes one bit. He asks for some scissors. Someone chucks him some scissors, and most of the wrestlers can't believe that he's actually even going to try to do this, but he cuts Michael Hayes' ponytail off. His mullet, his precious hair, gone in an instant. That's got to sort. Hayes, as you can probably imagine, was furious about this. X-Pac, on the Monday night, taped the ponytail to the locker room door, which probably made Hayes even more angry. Fantastic. There's more. Believe me, there's plenty more. There's Ric Flair. Ric Flair gets on the plane wearing his robe. Now, someone surely should have thought, why is he doing that? Of course, Ric Flair gets absolutely hammered on the plane and starts strutting his stuff up and down the aisles, going, woo! And getting his cock out to anyone who will look at it, and to everyone else who won't as well, actually. And that's got to have done. This, he allegedly forced a hostess to touch his cock. This became a lawsuit a couple of years later. And this is where I need a bit of help. This is the only part of my research for this vid that I can't find. Did anything come of those charges? I think they were in about 2004, 2005. Actually, no, they were in. I read about it in 2004, just after WrestleMania, if I remember rightly. But I don't know if anything came of the lawsuit or not. Lastly, there's only one more, and then we'll get on with the show. It's Goldust. Dustin Runnels got absolutely hammered. What a shocker. And gets on the PA and starts singing love songs to his ex-wife, Terry Runnels. Jim Ross has to come and grab him and pull him away. Apparently, Dustin Runnels' singing is absolutely atrocious. And then, apparently, in the same lawsuit I was talking about with Ric Flair, Runnels then grabbed a hostess and demanded sex with her. What a nice man. Oh yes. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the plane ride from hell. Because of this, alcohol was banned on any and all WWF flights, /E flights, because it's the same company, you know. Think about this, right? On that flight, there was Jerry Briscoe, Arn Anderson, Fit Finlay, Triple H, Jim Ross, Michael Hayes, The Undertaker, they were on board, right? They couldn't control the guys. Bear in mind, on top of that, both Stephanie and Linda McMahon were on the plane as well. Can you feckin' believe that? Arn Anderson and Michael Hayes both got severely reprimanded for not being able to control the boys. As I mentioned a moment ago, Mr. Perfect was fired pretty much as soon as the plane touched the ground. Never worked in the WWF again. Or the WWE, same company. Scott Hall appeared on the 6th of May edition of Raw, and after that was gone. This was a historically significant show. It really was. At the time, of course, we didn't know it, but dark match, as I mentioned, was Goldust versus Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect's last ever WWF/E match. Never worked for the company again. It was the last ever WWF show. Ever, as far as I can tell, unless there was a house show on the Sunday night. This was because this was a Raw brand show, so there might have been a SmackDown branded show on the Sunday night, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to say at the moment I'm not. As far as I know, this is the last one because Raw on the Monday night was WWE Raw, historically significant. This was the first branded pay-per-view. It was a Raw show, like I say. Bad Blood 2003, most people think was the first Raw pay-per-view. That's not true. This was the one. And most importantly, for yours truly, this show was significant because I was there. Don't know how well you can see that in this camera. That is my ticket from the night, WWF Insurrextion 2002. Funny little story, if you'll let me indulge, is that we found out, we found an advert in one of the newspapers a week before the show, me and two other mates, and the tickets were 50 quid. They'd sold out in the November, by the way. This was in May. They'd sold out when they were announced in November. But we found this advert in a newspaper, tickets 50 quid, we're like, mate, and the guy's like, should we go? Like, yeah, we should fully go. We went down there on the bus, we got to the coach station, we got the tube across London to Wembley, where we thought, right, now where do we go? And we had no idea. I'm pretty good with geography, and I'm good with maps and shit like that, but we got out of the tube station and just sort of looked around, just saw our road, and went, well, where do we go? And we just didn't have a clue. And then, I swear this is true, swear, hand on heart, right, swear this is true, a guy walked past us in full Hulk Hogan outfit, complete with the feather boas, and we just sort of all looked round at each other and went, well, I'm going to follow him then. So we did, and he led us to the arena. This guy dressed up as fucking Hulk Hogan. This was the first big wrestling show that I'd ever been to, and I was gobsmacked when I got into the arena. Just how I'd never seen so many people at a wrestling show. I was blown away by how many people there were. And I went and bought a ludicrously expensive program which has been kept in mint condition ever since. As you can tell, it's WWF. And the interesting thing, remember what I mentioned before, as I throw my ticket on the floor, is that it was the last ever one. So of course, when it was released on DVD, it was WWE Insurrextion, not WWF. Fun times for sure. So, should we get on to this show? I thought we'd talk about that first. Of course, I thought, because it's so historically interesting, the plane ride from hell. And like I said a moment ago, this show is crap. I'll warn you that off the bat. This is crap. But I haven't watched it in about 5 years, at least, right? And on the night, of course, because it's the WWF and it's a pay-per-view, I had the best night, one of the best nights of my life. I really did. Looking back on it now, I look at myself and go, how the fuck did you manage that? Anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? Because that's what you're here for. RVD defeating Eddie Guerrero in an okay match. RVD won with a disqualification, so Eddie Guerrero retains the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this match was always never going to be a patch on their Backlash match, and it's another one of those matches where it bothers me the RVD's in it, to be honest. I don't like RVD. I never have. I never will. I think he's an alright performer, but one of the things that bugs the fuck out of me is he's never seemed to have grasped the concept of, oh my god, selling, right? Eddie Guerrero spends 75% of this match working Van Damme's leg, and as soon as he starts his comeback, all that is ignored. I mean, complete and utterly ignored. RVD doesn't sell it once. Good work, RVD. That's fantastic. Eddie goes to use the belt. The ref stops him. and gets shoved down, so he calls for the bell. And that's the disqualification. Like, okay, fair enough. That's good. 1.5 stars, and easily, you know, apart from the main event, the best match of the night. That's what we're going to be going with here. 1.5 star match, and it's one of the better matches of the night. Paid 50 quid. Afterwards, RVD hits Eddie with the belt and then hits a 5-star. No selling at all, and an absolute weak-ass finish. You don't do a disqualification finish in the opening match, in my opinion. Molly and then Jazz complain in the back about exposing their breasts for profit. Molly shows a page 3 spread to prove her point, which is funny. Trish, Stratus and Jacqueline then defeated Molly, Holly and Jazz. Here's an interesting story. I could tell you about the match, but there's not really much to it. It's a half-a-star match. It's better than what we get nowadays from the Divas, but it's still nothing special. But here's the story, right? Because I was there, I can tell stories like this. I wanted a t-shirt. I specifically wanted a t-shirt from The Rock. It was the Get Ready t-shirt. Your candy ass is next on the back. Got to the arena. Of course, the merchandise signs are heaving. So I said to the guys, at some point, because of course, any other house show, you just have an intermission, you go and get it then. But I said, what I'll do is, if we get a bad match, I'll go and buy the t-shirts, because all 3 of us wanted t-shirts. I'll go get them. And to this day, I do not understand why I didn't choose this match. I stayed through this match and skipped a different match to go and get the t-shirts. This one! Match was okay. Stratus faction and the Stratus faction by Trish and a Tornado DDT by Jacqueline at the same time gets the win. Half star! X Pac defeating Bradshaw in a crap match. Pac stars Kane's mask, which is lovely. Classic APA, absolutely spot on classic. Bradshaw gets such a pop when he comes out, yeah, so big. I'm sure I was there up in the crowd chanting, you know, cheering away. Instantly, if you've got this on DVD and you want to look out for me, don't bother, because you won't see me at any point. I am, you know where the hard camera is, pointing at the ring, I'm next to it. I'm literally about 3-4 rows along from the hard camera. You don't see me on camera at all. I've checked, believe me. Utter silence for the match, though. Utter silence. I'll tell you in detail about this one, but there's so little that happens. Like, for example, I noticed there's a sign that says Hall Fears Beer, which makes me laugh. Bradshaw gets busted open when Pac takes off the thermal cover and, you know, he gets dropped onto it. There's Scott Hall interferes, hits Bradshaw with the X-Pac's nunchucks, that gets 2. Hall gets clothesline from held, low blow, X-Pac to get the win for X-Pac. It's a half-star match. Once again, it's freaking crap. Stephen Richards defeated Booker T to retain the Hardcore Championship. This was the match that I chose. I thought, I don't care about hardcore matches in any way, shape or form. I'm going to go and get me some t-shirts. So I went, and of course there was still a fucking queue for it, but I got in the queue, and this was the weirdest thing. I can still see it in my mind. I'm in the arena, and I'm queuing up for my t-shirt, and Booker T's music hits. I'm like, no way, he must have won the match. And then 30 seconds later, Crash Holly's music hits. And you're like, okay, that was weird. And then Booker T's music hits. And you're like, what the fuck is actually going on out there? And then Stevie Richards' music hits. And I'm sat there, honestly, so stunned. And to make it worse, the guy in front of me bought the last t-shirt. Took me another couple of months to get that sumbitch. But yeah, so I'm sat there, I get back to this, what the fuck's just happened? And the guy's like, the championship's just changed hands like 4 times. This match was really strange because it's like Stephen Richards especially tried to work it as a standard match instead of a hardcore match. They didn't really do much of the weapon stuff. Tried to keep it on the mat with dumb chin locks, you know? Weird. Let's go back to what I was just talking about. Booker hits a bookend, right? Wins the championship. Crash Holly comes out though, rolls up Booker as he's celebrating, and that gets the win. He celebrates, but then eats an axe kick from Booker T. That gets the win. But then Tommy Dreamer and Justin Credible come out. Booker T gets rid of them, does the spin-a-rooney, but a table's set up in the middle of the ring by Jazz. She attacks Booker, so Stevie Richards can take 2 attempts, it must be pointed out, to face-plant him through the tail. First one, Booker just bounces off the table, and they do a count, 1, 2, kicks out, so obviously didn't get enough of it. Good way of covering a botched spot, says I. They do it again, 1, 2, 3, Stephen Richards retains. All in all, for all the spectacle, it's about a star. And it was very, I have to admit, the first time I watched it on DVD, I was like, it was a, oh, That's what happened. The Hardy Boys defeated Brock Lesnar and Shawn Stasiak. Oh, lucky us. Planet Stasiak. Who like me has tried their absolute hardest to forget every single thing about Planet Stasiak. In the back, Paul Heyman tells Shawn Stasiak, don't interfere, don't do anything, just let Brock do it. I think when Brock says, you better do what he says, that it's the first time Brock Lesnar spoke. Oh, I'm not certain about that one, so don't quote me on it. No, Lita, with the Hardy Boys, she'd broken her neck about a week before filming a TV series called Dark Angel, which is not very nice, is it? Out for a year. Naturally, the awful Shawn Stasiak sprints to the ring and starts getting absolutely shit owned. Owned, I tell you. Basically, this match is this, yeah? Stasiak getting the shit kicked out of him until Brock Lesnar physically pulls him into his corner and tags himself in. Brock Lesnar then absolutely batters Matt Hardy until he goes to spear Matt Hardy in the corner. Matt Hardy moves out of the way, he spears the turnbuckle, and Shawn Stasiak hears the voices in his head and tags him in his heads. He's got 3. Obviously, he's Planet Stasiak. He hears the voices in his head, just the one. I'm such a moron, aren't I? Really? Why do you watch my vids? They're so shit. Shawn Stasiak hears the voices in his mind and tags himself in with predictable consequences. He gets the shit kicked out of him, twisted face, swanton, get the win! Then Brock Lesnar hits an F5 on Jeff, an F5 on Matt, a spine buster from fucking hell, and then a rotation powerbomb on Shawn Stasiak. And of course he remains undefeated because he hasn't lost. All good. That was a star and a half as well, actually. The Hardys didn't get quite the ass whooping that I was expecting, to be honest. But, you know, it's alright. It's the second star and a half match of the night. Next. William Regal in the back cuts a promo, right? And he calls Spike a shit hawk, I think he does. A shite hawk or something. A shite harp. Something like that. I can't make out what he says, but it's quite entertaining. So, Spike Dudley defeated William Regal in a meh match. It's a quarter of a star match to retain the European Championship. This one goes like this. Real simple. Spike Dudley is owning at the start, and he goes through the Dudley Dog with the acid drop, whatever you want to call it, and he lands back on his ankle. So the trainers come out, and they cut one of his boots off, and start attending to him. But Regal, the big bad heel, pulls him into the ring and suplexes him a couple of times because he's mean. He goes to suplex him a 3rd time, Spike rolls him up for the win. 1, 2, 3. It's one of those tricky ones because as a match itself, it's like I say, it's a quarter of a star, but it does have an entertainment value because, of course, it's the big bad heel getting his comeuppance. The match goes 4 minutes, over which 2 minutes, if you're lucky, are actual wrestling. But, you know, it is, as Josh would say, it is what it is, isn't it? True Slayer. So, then we go on to the 2 main events. Stone Cold defeated the Big Slow in a crap match. So, story here is Ric Flair had counted Undertaker's pin on Austin at Backlash, hadn't he? And Austin's foot was on the ropes. And I remember saying in my review, like, how did Flair not see it when he was looking straight at it? Well, I was wrong. I'd forgotten something. On Raw the next night, you see a replay, but from the other angle, yeah? You see Ric Flair look up, but there's no way that you can see Austin's foot, because Undertaker's body's in the way. Ah, you see it? I actually like that. I also feel a little bit bad for being so quite to me on my Backlash review, to be honest, but Flair says he's going to try and make it right. So tonight, here on Raw, it's Austin and Bradshaw versus the NWO. Problem with that, a few minutes later, Bradshaw's found backstage, out cold. So, the NWO think it's going to be the NWO versus Austin on the ring, but no. I need to point out the NWO, when I say the NWO, it's Hall and X Pac at this point. It's going to be Hall and X Pac versus Austin and Big Slow. And to the shock of, well, absolutely no one, I guess, Big Slow turned on Austin and joined the NWO. Yay! So to prevent any interference tonight, Ric Flair is going to be the outside ref. He calls himself the special guest referee number 2. And you're like, no, actually no, you're just the outside enforcer. Who did they have in the ring instantly? And they make no mention of this whatsoever. At any point, I really don't understand this. The normal referee is one Nick Patrick, who of course would do nothing to help the NWO, would he? No history with the NWO whatsoever. Dear God. Speaking of dear God, the pop that Austin gets when he comes out is one of the loudest things I've ever heard. Honestly, it was so big. One problem, yeah, this match is crap. It's really bad. Half a star. The highlight of this match is the crowd being British and chanting, "You fat bastard," at the Big Show. A lot. And with great gusto. They love chanting "You fat bastard" at the Big Slow. And I love the fact the fans are chanting "You fat bastard" at the Big Slow. Fantastic. Match. Austin works the show's legs. Who doesn't sell them at all? Again, it just keeps happening. Nah. So, yeah, referee gets bumped, obviously, because there's two referees. Big Show gets stunned, but Ric Flair gets referee number 2. Is chasing the NWO off up the ramp. So, of course, there's no cover, and out comes Kevin Nash. He tries to use X Pac's nunchucks, but gets stunned. 2 stunners for Big Show, 1, 2, 3, and that's it, game over. Ric Flair tries to make all nice. "I told you I wouldn't let you down. Let's have a drink." And guess what happened? Match was horrible. It went nothing to it, and it went, get this, 16 minutes, of which you could have trimmed off 10 minutes of this match easily and had exactly the same match. Awful, just awful. Undertaker then lost to Triple H in an okay match. I mean, it's another of 3 star-and-a-half matches. It's, especially seeing The Undertaker vs Triple H at the last 2 WrestleManias, I reckon I've got pretty high standards for Undertaker vs Triple H. Now, this is garbage compared to what we've seen. I mean, the match is, it's like Taker's match with Austin at Backlash. And what I mean by that is, it's just too long. And for what they do, takes forever. There are good points, don't get me wrong. Taker works Triple H's legs quite a bit, and Triple H sells them to the end of the match. Big tick from there. But I mean, I think one of the problems this match has is it goes, how long does it go? About 14 minutes. And about 6-7 minutes into the match, Undertaker gets Irish whipped into the ropes, and the top rope snaps, which means that anything that they may have had planned to do with the ropes gets thrown out the window, and they have to improvise the rest of the match. So I think in some respect, I could almost be being a bit cruel to them. But on the other hand, I'm not particularly nice at the best of times. So, let's talk about the end of the match. Chokeslam by Taker is counted into a DDT for 2. He tries and hits a second one and gets it, but they don't go for the cover because he gets a chair. Triple H knees that, high knees it into Undertaker's face. For 2, Taker responds with a really nice DDT for 2. And then the Taking Care of Business, which is such a bad name for a submission move. That's a reverse drag. It's a Dragon Sleeper, isn't it, if I remember rightly? Lost my place. He goes for a big boot, but Hunter counters with a high knee and a pedigree for the win. As JR, my God, goes into hypercell mode. I mean, seriously, calling this one of the greatest matches I've ever seen, saying that Triple H is amazing because he's defeated The Undertaker, and I'm sat there going, well, I'm not particularly impressed because that was wank. I changed my original rating. I originally gave it a 3 out of 10, but that's not very fair, is it? Because there's nothing good, there's nothing that should make you go, oh man, I want to go and buy that DVD. There is nothing on this show to make you want to do that. I look back on this show and just go, oh my God, I paid for that? Not only did I pay for it, yeah, I paid for it twice because I'm a fucking sucker. I went into this show and I bought it on DVD. I've got this policy. I've done it since time immortal. I will always buy the DVD of a show that I've been to. My wrestling library comprises of mostly shows that I've been to. And this last couple of months, this last 8-9 months or so, since I've started going to British wrestling shows, my collection's just a wham of fucking DVDs. Anyway, that, ladies and gentlemen, was INSURRXTION 2002. My next review will be, obviously, Judgment Day 2002 as part of the 10 Years Ago series. I really hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope I've educated anyone who didn't know about the Plane Ride from Hell. I've tried to be as accurate as I can. I'm sure I've made mistakes, so if I've made mistakes, just let me know down below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share this new channel if you don't mind. That would be awesome. And, yeah, I'll see you all soon. Take it easy, guys, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.